Alright, what is happening, guys? As you can see, it's a little bit of a different video. I've got my bike actually on my trailer. I took it to the Harley dealership this morning to get new tires. There was a bunch of ice on the road. Didn't want to test it out, so I decided to trailer it down to the Harley dealership. So we got new tires, everything. All that's a different story. I actually decided today to get into the how-to tutorials and show you exactly how I trailer my Harley Davidson FatBob. It's not that hard. I do it by myself every time. I'm sure other people have different methods, but this is the method I use, and it's worked for me. I've trailered my bike hundreds of miles like this, so it's worked out for me. No big deals, no big issues. So we'll check it out. All right, guys, now I'm going to show you how to trailer the motorcycle. This is probably the hardest part of it. It's not that hard. I'm just saying it is the harder part rather than taking it off. Taking it off the trailer is super easy. Putting it on is more tedious. I should say tedious. Okay, first things first is that you want to always make sure that if you only have one bike going onto your trailer, get it as dead center into the middle of the trailer as you can. Now, my trailer, I've added a E-track in the middle of it, so I definitely know where the middle of the trailer is. But you're just going to probably have to guess if you don't have anything like that. You always got to give it a couple good revs, just because you're a Harley rider. I mean, if you're going to look like a jerk, you might as well act like one, right? Alright, so like I said, I always make sure that I'm as centered as possible. Alright, and then turn it off, get to the top, and leave it in first gear. Always want to leave your motorcycle into first gear. Now, I'm going to put the kickstand down. Now, my trailer is one of these mesh trailers, so I have this board here to keep my kickstand, to have a place to have a platform. But if you have a wooden trailer, you don't have to worry about the board, but I keep this board here. So best option is make sure your motorcycle is as forward as it possibly can be. Another good safety tip of whenever you're doing this, whenever I'm actually trailering and untrailering, I always want to make sure I have the trailer hooked up to the truck first. All that is because, I mean, the way this trailer is, this heavy bike, once it goes to the back of the trailer, it's going to tilt that whole trailer up. So if it's not attached to that truck, this whole trailer is going to come backwards with the bike. So just always make sure your trailer's hooked up. It's something simple. People are going to think I'm stupid for telling that, but there's plenty of times that you're just going to not think about it and do it, and then that trailer's going to flip on you. You're going to drop your bike, and we're all going to have a bad day. What I have found best is I've got these Harley Straps. They're soft hooks is what they call them. But what I do with the FatBob and where I put these straps is actually right here on the handlebar clamp. Oh shoot, I went the wrong way. I always go from the outside to the end. Make sure that there's two sides to these soft hooks. There's one side like this that can lay flat, and there's this side that does not. This is the side that you want, the non-flat side. You want this one to go into the main bike, and then I always loop it through and then pull it through. Same thing goes for this side. All right, just like that, and that hangs down. And what that does is that gives me a good place for these two straps. Now, a lot of people use ratchet straps, which is perfectly fine. I like to use these tension straps instead that don't ratchet. The reason being that it's when I'm doing it on my own is because it's actually easier. I don't have to sit over here and ratchet one side at a time. I can actually grab, you'll see in a second, when I grab them both and pull them at the same time. But I'm just going to go ahead and hook this up, put this right here. All right, now here comes the fun part. You want this bike to sit up perfectly straight. I don't want all the weight on the kickstand whenever I'm going down the road, because there's the good possibility that you could bend something up, all that, great stuff. So we don't want that. So what I like to do And this is why I like these tension straps for when I'm trailering motorcycle by myself, is I like to sit on it, and then I grab the other side here, and then I just start pulling on this side until I get it to about where I want it, straight. Feels straight to me. Try to push the bike forward towards the front a little bit more, and see how easy that is, just to grab these tensions here, and then I just push down just a tad bit. I don't want to blow out my forks or anything. Just push down a tad bit onto the handlebar. All right, now the back part, there's not much you need to do back here. I always wrap it through the back tire, through the wheel. If you have spoked, actual spoked wheels, tubeless tire or tube tires, you don't want to do this because you don't want to bend your spokes, because we're not putting too much tension on it. But when it's going down the road, it's going to have a little bit of tension, and it's enough tension to bend spoke. But yeah, wrap it around just once around there. Do what you would normally do with a regular ratchet strap. Now I just tighten it down just a bit. The only reason for this back ratchet strap is just so that back of this bike doesn't walk itself while you're going down the road, because it will do that. Make sure you close up your trailer. And then always secure the ends of your straps. You don't want those things blowing around, getting caught up in any tires or anything. And for added measure, you always want to make sure that you always just do that and say, that ain't going nowhere. Because if you say that, it's definitely not going anywhere. Now, when trailering your motorcycle, it's always best to unload it downhill. If you park your truck or your vehicle that you're trailering it with pointing downhill, you're going to have one heck of a time getting that big old beast off of there. This bike weighs just under 700 pounds. I'm not pushing that thing backwards uphill. All right, first things first, I'm going to undo these straps. Now, I always like to stand up in the trailer and hold it as a just in case. Everything's a just in case. And then just like that, because you can see that bike moving a little bit. Like I said, that always freaks me out a little bit. Oh, and another thing is to remember to keep your bike in gear, in first gear. That's going to save you a big headache too, because you are parked downhill. That thing's going to want to roll off on you. All you gotta do is put this thing into neutral and just let it drift off. Just make sure, coming off of your ramp, you're making sure you're you want to be as flat-footed as possible. If you're not being flat-footed, I would recommend having somebody there to help you and watch and make sure the bike doesn't fall, because there's a certain point where, like, I need to go a little bit tiptoed, about right in here. I don't know if you can see this on the camera, but I kind of have to be a little tiptoed, and depending on the steepness of the hill, that might be a little bit challenging. Just use your brake, let the bike come off, and you're good to go. So I hope you liked the video. Make sure you like, share, subscribe. If you want more videos, more how-to videos, just let me know. Leave them down in the comments below. So with that being said, I'll catch you guys later. Peace. And word to the wise, before you start taking off like I did, always make sure you put the motorcycle into transport mode. Make sure you have the key fob with you. Turn it on, turn it off, and then hit both of the turn signals at the same time. And then it says it, well, of course it went away, but it'll say it right there for you.